Let's not do it. Hello. Give us just a second here. We're letting everybody get into the room, and we will start off with some holiday cheer. Let's see. Whoa, that room just blew up. Okay. I'd like to give a couple of shout outs there. Good to see you, Ken. I see you there. Ah, Mark Carroll, good to see you. Rod's in here. Brittany, now I'm nervous. Yeah, you know, boy. Dr. Hale. Okay, and we are at, I think, let's do it. Let's get kicked off. Everybody poured in and perfect. Love it when everybody's on time. It's good stuff. Hang on. Why don't we not start with the thank you screen? How about that one? Here we go. Good morning. How's everybody doing? Good afternoon for some of you, and happy holidays. You know, I've told this joke like 3 times, but I really tried to get the Santa Claus voice down because this is Santa Claus, but let's say my helpful home elves said I sounded more like a German Yoda. I don't know what that is, but they said just stick to the normal Santa Claus voice. So that's what we're gonna have. With me today, I'm really excited because it's one of those things where if I get to spend my day, you know, an hour of my day with 4 amazing industry experts, my day is perfect. And that's what we have in front of us. Starting off with Kim Hickey of ATI. Known Kim a long time, and she is the expert in her field. I'm excited to ask some questions and really pick her brain on some of the really great things that are happening out there with the shops that she's seeing from just a different angle that I have no experience in. So really excited, really glad to have you here, Kim. And we've had a great year together. We've been at so many events and had so much great time. So
Yes, we have. Yes, we have. You actually changed my life in Minneapolis. So there's that. Not every day you can say that. And thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. Awesome. Me too. Me too. That was just a great bonding event that we're going to have forever. It was awesome. And really, you know, we can all tell you on the side, but we unlocked a major secret in this world, which is pretty cool. So
another profit center, maybe another profit center for some of our shop owners.
Yes, yes, I love it. I love it. Going down our introductions there. I had the pleasure to get to spend some time with Mr. Ryan Burton, CEO of LeadsNearMe, and really just pick his brain a little bit on how we get these shops, you know, more busy and keeping them busy, and how do we look at things in just a different way. Ryan, you had some of the, questions that we talked about is really what spurred kind of this on, because I'm like, these are brilliant things that we should get in front of people and really talk about. So thank you for spending some time today, and really honored to get an hour with you, you know?
Thank you for inviting me, and coming from you, a very accomplished man yourself. That's very high praise. So it's great to see you again, Todd. One of the great things in 2021 was to get to know you, my friend. So thanks for having me today.
Well, people don't know you have a long history in radio, and as a great radio personality. So I was nervous coming on here. I got to step it up to the game and really, you know. So
I'm rusty,
awesome.
I promise.
Monique, do you ever have a bad day? I'm not kidding. Everywhere I'm at with Shop-Ware, and you're there, and we're at a trade show or an event, I think about it. Like the other day, I was like, you know, Monique is always happy. Like that's like, you love where you're at. You love your job. You wear it on your sleeve. You know, you bleed Shop-Ware, but also wrapped in there too. Just always such a super happy person, and really happy to have you on. And you wore the Santa too, so I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I got the not that you could see them, but the antlers up top. Yeah, no,
Nice.
Thank you for having me here today. I really appreciate it. And you know, you're always wonderful to talk to. So that's why I'm always so pleasant.
That's, I don't know about that. Jeez. Man, that's awesome. And Brittany, Brittany of Rod's Japanese Auto Care. Brittany, you are riling it up because you're killing it as a Facepay power user. And I have folks out there in our monthly competition. They're like, who do I have to beat to win? And I'm like, there's a new queen in town, and it's Brittany, and she is schooling you all. There's a shop owner out there, I think he's on, that walked into the middle of the shop and said, guys, Brittany is crushing us. This is in Northern California. And I could hear all these grumbles. Like, I'm like, hey, you know, you know, so I'm so excited to have you here. I have some really great questions for you too, that are really going to help people. I noticed there's some things you do that are just so natural, and it's not natural for other shops. So I definitely am going to pick your brain and try to get some of those questions out there. So check in the chat real quick, and then we're going to fire off. Guys, it's going to be rapid fire questions, and we make sure.
Are you going to be like Macaulay Culkin and Uncle Buck? What's your record, Todd?
Yeah. You know, well, I don't know if I should say it. I came down the stairs and everybody was like, looks like Bad Santa's here. And I was like, what? Like, I'm not drinking. Like, geez. But
well, you know, Ryan already mentioned it, but I can't stop looking now. But he said how your beard is just staying right there. So it looks like it's almost like propped up in front of you, and you're just kind of working in the scene in the background there. It's great.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Yep. It's good times, good times. Okay. We'll kind of start the way I see it in my camera, so that way I keep the flow going well there. Let's start off with the baseline question there. Okay. What did we learn in 2021? And so kind of thinking of that, if the question isn't like, if I get into point of sale system and you don't have too much on that, we just let Monique just teach us all on that one. This one open to all. What Brittany, what do we learn in 2021? It's a unique year.
It was a unique year, as of like last year was unique too, but we learned how to adapt and tailor to the new way of things, like on how to treat people and the safety of others, and like people being scared of sickness and things like that. Like we had to adapt and cater to people's needs. So like we do pickups, drop-offs, we do touchless, everything. Facepay has really helped with that too. It's so easy for people to just, you know, click on Facepay and pay that way. They didn't have to come in, they didn't have to give us a card number over the phone, nothing like that. We have a key drop box right outside the front door that they could pick up. We had to adapt, and then we also had to like go back to the basics. Honestly, with 2021, we really did focus on the small stuff and the basics that we kind of forgot about, or we were getting too far ahead of ourselves. And by doing that, we were really maximizing on everything that came in. So our ARO actually this year, sorry, is about $1,100 ARO. So we were really maximizing really well and just staying on top of our game. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I changed my view there. So Monique, what did we learn in 2021?
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback off of adapting. Not only did we have to adapt, but we also really had to learn where we needed to invest our time, invest our resources, invest in new things, new ideas to really kind of accommodate the changes that are happening and that, you know, we didn't once have before. So we were very like stuck in our ways, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But it was broke, because there's a whole new way of thinking and a whole new way of taking on business that we didn't have before. So thinking outside of the box and in making those investments in those areas were really important for us.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Ryan, what do we learn? Special year, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, you know, talking to all of our shops and LeadsNearMe clients, it's preparing for success. You know, I think we spend a lot of time as business leaders safeguarding ourselves against things going wrong. But we had so much success. It was such a good year for so many, and they so far exceeded goals and objectives that, in a lot of cases we don't condition ourselves to be successful. We have this fallback plan, but not a fall forward plan with a ton of success. So I think preparing for success, and then, much like Brittany and Monique said, and adapting, it's, the tech shortage, looking for staffing, having to find creative solutions to take the influx of customers. I mean, so many shops are saying, hey, we can't handle the business. We don't have the techs to do the work. So they had to be creative, and even to a certain degree, if there was parts issues or availability issues based on some of the supply chain shortages. So you've got to prepare for really anything, and but mainly success. I mean, it can come, and it's so crazy to think that we don't typically prepare for doubling our business or doing great revenue, and saw a lot of success, and a lot of people have to adapt around that as well.
That's an amazing view, and I think it's perfect lineup, because Kim is on the other side of that of, we're the busiest we've ever been. That doesn't mean we're the profitable. Kim, what do we learn in 2021?
I would say it was a continuation of learning that necessity is the mother of all inventions. And our shop owners, and business owners in general had to really dig deep and do things they never thought possible in 2020. And then comes the next part. Everybody's always looking for, that magic bullet. And we found out that consistency is the magic bullet. So all of those wonderful things that we implemented out of necessity to keep our doors open and to keep our people safe, by becoming consistent with that for 2021, it blew the doors off of everything. I mean, we're seeing an average growth this year for gross profit and stuff of like 20%, because everybody took all of the things that they learned out of necessity, and then said, how do we move upon this? And so they picked up different profit centers. They got tighter processes with, credit card processing and Facepay and the software and everything to try to streamline what's going on. And so it's been really exciting to watch. And I think the biggest shift that we've seen this year is people really becoming CEOs, right? So a lot of us have been business owners for a long time, and we ran a business, and, we managed our people, and we did all that. And 2022 forced us to look and say, I am a CEO of this company, so I need to make the strategic decisions and do things that are going to bring the business forward, not only today and tomorrow, but next year and 5 years and 10 years. And so who do I have to have in place to be able to do that? And that's probably even more exciting than the profit side of it, is to watch people become true CEOs and understand that no matter how big or small, your shop is, you are CEO of that company. So that's been just amazing to watch.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah, I look at 2021. There's so much change that's happened, and I think one of the things that I've just seen out there is that the shops are so busy. And I talked to the shop owner. He goes, you know what? He goes, I'm slammed. I'm more busy than I ever have. I'm looking for new employees, and I'm so busy, I'm paying like $400 bonuses to have people do work on Saturday and Sunday. The thing that I was thinking in my head, Kim, is do those shops then, are they actually so busy and now they're not as profitable? Like giving these bonuses or all these things to get all of this work done. I have this feeling that the accounts have the most amount of money in it. That doesn't mean they're the most profitable. So are you finding that?
So there, that's an excellent question. And if you're not paying attention to things, that could happen, because we get caught up in the moment. And one of the analogies I always use when you're hiring, when you need somebody, we're doing whatever with finances, it's like going to the grocery store hungry, right? You're acting on impulse and, doing things. So if you're just throwing out bonuses and, being all crazy to get people to work extra hours, that's gonna hurt it. It's the much bigger thing is to have the culture and the environment and the engagement where people want to participate and help share in the profits and do it in a way that's balanced for the customer, the shop, and the internal customer, right? And so same thing we're seeing with parts, because you mentioned a little bit about margins eroding. If you're not paying attention and you're using a parts matrix, that's wonderful. But now what's happening is the parts are costing a little more. So it's taking it to that next tier in your matrix, right? And so you're not as profitable. So you have to be really looking in there. And that's why, again, that CEO aspect is so important. You have to be paying attention to all those little things that are going on, or else you will really erode your profits and you're going to just be on a treadmill, just going crazy. So
Jeez.
Excellent question.
Awesome. Awesome. This one's going to be a big question for us. And I said, I'm just going to throw some big old landmines out there and let's just dig in and really, this is happening a lot. And I'm watching this shift as I talk to all these different owners. And Brittany, we'll start with you. When is the best time to buy a second shop? And as we evolve that question, Ryan, how's that going to affect marketing? You don't just, next thing you know, you're going to merge your websites. We've got to now change our pay-per-click. Monique, we're going to have to, how do we get those two management systems? There are always two different ones. And Kim, everybody thinks this shop, I'm so successful, I'm just going to go buy another shop and I'm magically going to just turn this one into that one. So Brittany, how have you done it?
Well, yeah, we opened a second shop at the beginning of this year, and it's been going extremely well. It's profitable. I think you just need to write down your goals and like what you want to achieve with that place. Do your win number drills. Like, what is it going to take? How many cars are you going to have to do? How many employees are you going to need? You need to stack your bench full of employees. You need advisors, you need backup advisors, you need technicians, you need backup technicians. So I think those are the things you need to do to be prepared, but to think that you need to be absolutely perfect before buying another business, I don't think it's ever going to happen. So I think if you're thinking, oh, I'll do it when I'm ready, then you're never going to do it, because you're never going to be fully ready. We're pretty ready. We've been open for 20 years now at our first location. So we have our processes and procedures down really, really well. And we bought a turnkey shop basically, and we implemented our process and procedures it just came with one employee. We have 4 over there now. And we literally just duplicated the process. So I'd say, yeah, if you have all your processes and procedures done at your first location, that's a good time to say that you could open a second location too. But yeah, I would say don't ever wait till you're fully ready, because it's never going to happen. We learned a lot of things opening, and there were some growing pains that we went through, but it was fun and we did it together and we wrote things down and like, what are we going to do differently the next time we open a third location too? So I'd say, like, yeah, get your process and procedures down and figure out, your backup team that you're going to have there with you.
I love that. I just heard third location. Look at that.
Yeah.
See, but again, you just make it sound so easy. So everybody would just go right out there, all these shops, you just open a second, you're ready for your third. So Ryan, if the phone isn't ringing, we're in trouble. You just don't magically take on a second shop. And how do we work through that?
Well, interesting question. And this was one that wasn't on the list, but it's a great question, because we probably open, I would say just on average, a shop a week somewhere in the country now with our various clients. So it might be more than that. So either opening with one of our various clients, second, third, we're up to 7 with some of them.
Wow.
We've opened now. But the point is we've been very privileged that with these clients that we've developed a relationship, a level of trust, that they include us in the consideration process now, where they're looking at them, they're trying to determine if they should buy them. So again, this is something we do very frequently, and there's one of two things that happen. They either buy a location that nothing was there, and then they're going to either likely brand it as their current brand, or they're buying a shop that exists. I think Brittany used the term turnkey. It already exists. It's up and running. So we make the decision with them as to whether they're going to maintain the brand of the existing shop. Or we're going to keep it as is, or we're going to rename it our brand. And we get involved in all of that. So what I've noticed, with our clients that buy other shops is really, I think it comes down to two things, right? Do they have the money? I mean, can they afford to do this? And is it something that they're comfortable with in their budget? And all of us here are business leaders and have to make budgetary decisions on a regular basis. So there's a money equation to, can I do it? And the second decision is quite frankly, is it good math? I mean, am I buying this thing at a good value? Do I think I can turn it around? Can we do something? And I guess this is a plug for LeadsNearMe. I mean, we're very strong with Google. That's kind of our thing with blowing up the phones with Google. And we really do know what we're doing. I'm really not just saying that. And so what we find is most clients are really underperforming there. And especially when they're buying a shop, it's typically a guy or gal, guy or gal. Brittany, and Brittany's on here. I'm going to get how many ladies do I have here? And I just made that super faux pas. Oh my God.
You're totally fine.
I've got so much to learn in my life, and probably not going to. Anyway, that's why I'm a guy, right? Sorry. But anyway, but all that said, they look at these shops, they kind of make the determinations on the value, and the people that had them are typically not performing well in those areas. So when we show up, and we dial things in, and they have the good partners, they get a great coaching company behind them. They get a great, software. They get all these great things available to them that the last people didn't have. They start running efficiently. We typically, these things blow up, they double. And I'm not sure if Brittany had that experience as well with her shop, bringing in their systems. The one they bought, the people were kind of on the way out for about 2-3 years or something. And they showed up with all these great habits, procedures, and suddenly they're doubling revenue. They purchased it well because they bought it on the old revenue that the shop was doing. So yeah, I mean, kind of a convoluted answer, but it's, we're doing this really frequently now, getting involved in it. And to any shop, listening right now, having a great coaching company in your corner, having great partners, vendors like Monique or LeadsNearMe, or even other shops you can talk to, friends like Brittany that you can chat with, you kind of go through your process to determine if it's a good decision. And typically you're going to do it better. But again, with how 2020 ran, and then 2022 has been, obviously a lot of these ones have done fairly well out of the gates. We've had a lot of success, and it's gone very well. So hopefully that all can continue. But yeah, those are some of the factors we look at. And again, our clients call us. We look at, the website, how it looks, its equity and its value and its rankings. And then again, we've got a very strong recipe for how we run ads now. So when we run Google ads and we get the website up. Oh, and one other thing, Todd, I mean, I don't mean to talk so much, but one other thing related to it is website wise, right? So we make determinations if we're going to, sometimes we maintain the brand, and sometimes our shop owners will buy shops that are too close. And if I'm going to mention one, because I think this is, and I don't know, I mean,
oh boy.
I'm going to mention one, but it's my friend Heath Harris in Flagstaff, Arizona. Heath owns Heath's Auto Repair. And I remember about 3-4 years ago, he calls me. He's like, I bought a shop, another shop. It's half a mile from my shop. And I'm like, what? I mean, that's, so he maintained the other brand, which is University Auto Repair. He's even gone further and bought another shop in town, which is a few miles away, and runs them all independently. And they all have their own lifespans and do their own thing. So that can work. If they were both named the same thing, I don't know if I should be name dropping or tell it, but sorry, Heath, I love you, brother. But he, had you made them both the same brand, if you're going to keep the same brand, we find a good 10 to 15 miles away makes sense. You get too close, you're really kind of cannibalizing yourself. So that we do look at those things, like, are we going to maintain the old brand? Are we going to do it? And in a lot of cases, and even get even deeper, a lot of these shop owners, and Brittany, I'm not sure how you handled it, but we'll set up a separate company for the new shop. And so they'll have multiple companies set up in a lot of cases, and, different bank accounts for business purposes. And so there's a lot that goes into it, and we get involved in that. We help them make those decisions. And again, having a lot of success with that. And hopefully it's fairly common sense. If it's not, then again, something we're dealing with weekly now. So I don't mean to give such a long answer if that made any sense at all.
No, it did. And it really, when you said the common sense part, you know, that led right into Monique, how these shops just, they don't realize that if they're opening a second shop, the importance of having both the shops on, you know, the top system, Shop-Ware, how that's going to work. So
Yep. The second you started talking about multi-shop, I just got super excited and super giddy because I'm like, yay, I can't wait for my turn. So thank you for bringing this up. It gives me a great pleasure to talk about multi-shop functionality because, you know, there are a lot of shop management systems, so many to choose from. And what Shop-Ware, one of the things Shop-Ware does very well is we just really understand what the problem is in a shop and go out and solve it with software, right? So that way, then it gives the folks back time to do what's most important, which is really focus on your customer, driving more customers back in. But to the multi-shop point, we actually share the customer database across all of the locations. And it's really important to do that because then, you know, if one customer goes or works by a location and then they go into or live by another location, that history between the shops is shared, and it makes it very easy to understand and know what's going on. But more importantly, we also roll up the reporting in a way that you can report on as many locations as you'd like to. So we have a few large enterprise locations with, you know, many locations, or we have the independent owner who's really going out, and because of COVID at the end of 2020, there was a lot of opportunity for existing shops who were lucrative and had their processes and procedures in place to then go out and expand and buy more locations. And so we've really just had a lot of our existing customers going in and buying many locations. And it's very, I wouldn't say it's easy because I'm not the one running their shop, but it's easier for them to do that once they have a really strong foundation with their processes and procedures. And then marketing has obviously then just helped and amplified that success of those shops because it's really allowing them to expand and have that good feedback by giving them an experience with the shop management system that they've not really had before. And then folks are just, it's spreading like wildfire. And then you throw the coaching company in with Kim, and that just really teaches them how to be super profitable and understand the things that they need to do to then go and add not only their second and third, but their fourth and their fifth and their sixth locations. Because that's where I hear it gets really complicated, because you can find a good staff for 2-3 locations, but when you go to 4, 5, 6, 7 plus, it becomes a little bit more difficult. So all of the people on this call are absolutely necessary to get to the, you know, 6, 7, 8 locations that some of our customers have.
Awesome. And Kim, I was looking at my questions and they're like dead ahead. I was like, I have no challenging questions for Kim. She is going to school. Like, this is your expertise right here. I mean, what, they have one shop, they buy 2. It's easy, right? Done.
So I would say this, you know, obviously excellent input from everybody. You need a team, right, to be behind you to do this. I think the first thing is you have to look at your why. There's going to be hundreds of, you know, thousands of businesses that go out of business. And so there's going to be opportunities all over the place for you to pick up another shop or a parts store or a car wash or a collision shop or whatever you want to add to your portfolio, right? But you have to, look at the why. Why do you want another location? We kind of have a joke at ATI. Brian Stosh always says, you know, why do you want 3 stores? And it's like, because the guy down the street has 2, right? And the same thing with bay size and everything else. So is this for your ego? Is this for your ego? Because if you're doing it for your ego and just to be able to say, oh, I'm a multi-store owner or business owner, you're going to fail, because your heart and everything else that takes to get into it is not going to be there. And your ego is not going to let you see what else is going on, right? So if you're doing it because you want to be contributing to your community and you want to build a legacy and you have family members that you want to grow into it, or whatever the other reasons, that's very different, right? So you have to understand your why. 2, you have to have capital. You know, the days of starting a business on a wing and a prayer are very limited. I mean, there's a lot of wonderful things we can do with social media and other things to get information out there and get things done. But you have to have capital, because if you don't, what we see happens a lot of times is the new business starts draining. It's not self-sufficient, quick enough because they didn't have a plan. And then they start draining from the other, and then it makes both of them weak, right? And you're jeopardizing both. So, do your due diligence, make sure you have capital or access to it, whether that's going to get a loan or something to support you. Branding, Ryan mentioned about branding. When you look at your business, every business has a brand, whether it's one that you created or one that the public created for you, or internal customers, or so on and so forth. So just, be aware of that. Ask the right questions. How much of a problem is it going to be to overcome the brand that was there? Are their values and their customers and those things similar to yours? Or do you have to plan more in your budget to overcome whatever deficiencies that other business had, right? So that's why it's so important to work with someone like Ryan that can really look at that, because people think right off the bat, okay, I'm going to open another location or a third or fourth, and we're just going to use the same marketing everywhere. That's not always the case. There's different demographics. Sometimes the income levels, they could be even 15 miles apart. It could be like it's in two different countries, right? So you have to make sure you have a partner that really understands that and can do the things for you that needs to be done. So you have to have the people that you can rely on, because again, you have to be a CEO then, right? Because if you have more than one location or more than one business, you're not in there day to day doing everything all day long. So when you're hiring, now you have to be hiring for the person you need in 5 years and 10 years and whatever, because if that's your goal to have multiple locations, you have to have the right staff that's going to support that and let you go out. And like, everybody else mentioned, you have to have processes, right? Because if you're just running amok and you don't have anything, it's going to be a mess when you open the next one. So you have to have some sort of a model. You'll probably have to adapt it a little to the new location, because every business has its own little bit of personality and quirks because of where the people come from, where it's at. But these are things that you can overcome if you have a plan. It's when you don't have a plan that you can, overcome it. But we can overcome anything if we have our eyes open and we know this is going to be challenging, but that's okay, because I have this partner that's going to help with it, right? And, the software, my gosh, anybody trying to run multiple locations without having the ability to look at all of them, and somebody, because today's world too, I'm going to go off on a little tangent here. I'm sorry for a second, but and I'm sure this is going to come up, but with the workforce problem that the world is facing, and the trying to find internal customers, you need to be looking at how can we have people working remotely. So maybe a service advisor, does estimates for both locations, and we utilize the software, like Shop-Ware has, right, to be able to do that from home. Same thing with AR goggles, another thing with technicians. If you have multiple locations, do you have the staff that maybe could be part remote? Can they be a floater? Do we need 2 techs at each shop, and look at those things. But again, it's exciting, right? It's a wonderful opportunity. There's so many businesses going out. So this is the time now to do it, but make sure you have your ducks in a row, or else you could lose everything, right? So
yeah, thank you. That, it's funny because I look at the time that we're at and I'm like, I just need to have an hour show kind of with each of you, because it's just, what just the brilliance of what just everybody just had these, huge nuggets where I'm like, oh, I never even thought of that. And that's really, one of the things that I did kind of had planned in was every once in a while I was going to have like Santa kind of show a gift. And somewhere right now, Dr. Hale just spilt his coffee, because when you said capital, Kim, that was one thing. I'm always looking at the industry and going, how can I help? How can I be right there in that thing, looking at what's not there? So as you guys read in the press release last week, we launched Facepay Capital. And the interesting why the multi-shop question came up, out of all my shops that jumped on the Capital right away, their number one reason was there's a shop to buy. Now, my red flag there was something that the brilliant Ron said, Kim, in one of the ATI morning meeting there that we had. Ron said, you got to be careful that these folks aren't just clicking the button and buy, like they need to have a plan. Like it's a great idea of hey, I'm gonna click, we'll use Facepay Capital, I'm gonna go buy another shop. But that could be terrible if you don't look at all of the, in taking a look at this. And so we're going to kind of shift from here, and we're going to move over to, we went into multi-shop, and I felt there's so much in multi-shop that helps single shop, even if you're not going to go into multi-shop. So a couple of these on rapid fire, and what can we do for and let's just call it lower revenue shop. It's maybe $500,000 or under. Okay. What inexpensive ideas can we help them kind of grow their car count? And a lot of times we're talking to some shops that, I'll be talking to a Texas shop, and they're like, I've got, 17 bays, and, sometimes I don't get to talk to enough. A shop who's doing 500,000 is growing, has a lot of room to grow. So just kind of I'll start with you, Monique, and we'll kind of wrap around there. And if you don't have anything too much, like I said, I'm gonna try to speed us up. You're on mute.
Yes, sir. We don't really do much on our end to help car count. I'm actually going to defer to Ryan, because I'm sure this is his area of expertise and he has lots of good feedback.
Well, I'm sure
Awesome.
Brittany and Kim know a little something about this as well, I'm sure. But well, I mean, they're growing, right? At some point, a shop is a $500,000 shop, right? It's got to hit all the different stations on its growth path, right? So, and maybe you ladies can help me with the math, but if we're looking at, if we're doing, that's what, 40 some thousand a month or something, right? So is that, if your ARO is 400, that's about 100 cars a month or something, I think, somewhere therein, if my math isn't too crazy there. If it is, someone correct me midway here. So, that's what, on 20 business days, that's 5 cars a month. So you bring on a couple new cars a day, or 5 cars a day. I'm sorry. You bring on a couple new cars a day. I mean, that's a good 20, 30% growth, just 2 cars, right? And I jokingly tell our smaller shops that we connect with that you could probably do that at the grocery store, right? You could pop in and walk around with business cards, and, in the produce aisle, be like, hey, do you have a car? And so, you can do these guerrilla tactics. But what I've found over the years to be really effective, and some people do, but I don't think they do properly, is networking in a closed networking group. And I think this is very effective for smaller shops, even bigger. I mean, you can stay with it a long time, but a lot of people have done it and they'll tell me that it doesn't work, or I've tried it and it's not working. And that's because they don't understand reciprocity. Reciprocity is, I do for you, you do for me, we help each other out, right? And the key thing with closed networking groups, and closed means there's only one auto repair shop in this group with a plumber, an HVAC guy, an accountant, all these different categories. And, and the reciprocity is getting to know each other, getting to trust each other, where you feel confident recommending them and they feel confident recommending you. When you do this, the math equation is very simple. There's typically 20 members in these closed groups. If you figure each person is in contact with 20 people a day, that's 400 touches a day that a local business has the opportunity to get their name in front of somebody because of local networking. So I've been in them in the early days of doing what I did. I started the same way, went out looking for business and sat in these networking meetings, and I would see local shops get 4 or 5 cars a week sitting in these meetings, So
Ryan, what's the name of the main one? What's
BNI, business.
BNI, yeah, that's what I was trying to rack my brain. I said, what's a BNI? Chamber of Commerce. I got my start.
Chambers open, so you go to chamber.
Yeah, it's very true.
But BNI is a good place to start. Typically, people don't like it because it's kind of big box or brandy, but you can go into these things and find the little offsets or offshoots of the local guys that have started up. As long as it's closed, and as long as you're with people you like and can trust and have a good relationship with, reciprocity is extremely powerful. And again, we always say, advertising is about the ones. It's about bringing in one new customer, and then one new customer, then one new. It's about each individual one you bring in, and then having that person now have 4 visits a year, and then that person introduce you to 4 new people, and this turns into hundreds of shop visits for people over the course of the year, if you understand it correctly. But local networking.
Awesome. Yeah, I love it. Kim.
Oh, I just could soapbox fire. So Listen, there's so many things that you can do, right? And Ryan mentioned just one of them with BNI, but it has to go back to the basics. You know, Brittany talked about the beginning. If you build it, they will come, right? The first thing before you're doing anything else is that you're building a business that people want to come to, and that's your internal and external customers, right? And when you do that properly, it makes all the other stuff so easy, because I'm sure Ryan can tell you heartbreak story after heartbreak that people are spending a bunch of money on marketing, but then they treat their external customers like crap when they come in, or they treat their internal customers, right? So it snowballs. So the first thing is to build that engaged environment where every single one of your internal customers are ambassadors for you. They're going out everywhere telling everybody how amazing it is to be there. The second thing is keep your cards with you. You know, it makes me crazy because every day I see people, oh, I'm at this restaurant, look at the steak. I just checked into Starbucks. I'm over here at the whatever. They never check in their own place on social media. They never post anything. You can go out and promote everybody else's stuff, but you don't your own. Go to home when you're at Home Depot and somebody's helping you, say to them, oh man, Todd, thank you so much for this plumbing advice. Where do you get your car service? I'd like to repay the great service you just gave me. Come and see me at my shop. I'm going to tell you real quick. I always say this is my claim to fame. I one time got pulled over for speeding, and I got the sheriff to not only not give me a ticket, follow me back to my shop, and I sold him a $3,500 transmission. Why? Because that's what I do. And that's what you all need to do, right? Every single person you meet is an opportunity for marketing. When you get your hair done, anywhere you go, and you do it for other people. So do it for yourself. You have no problem going and saying, man, I just had the best dinner at wherever, or so-and-so, you know, did whatever for my hair. Create that experience that people are out there running and saying that about you. And then have a good partner that can look at your stuff and that you're not chasing good money after bad, right? That you're looking at your frequency and saying, how many people are coming in one time and never coming back? Let's get that fixed. So when you hook up with Ryan, he can bring people in that you're going to make happy, right? So sorry.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Brittany, and also kind of tied in there, you said turnkey shop. I mean, what about a shop that's growing? You apply your magic to it. Do we turn that into a $1.5 million shop like that? I mean,
yeah, we literally, I have so many processes and procedures written down thanks to Kim, ATI. She's my coach, by the way.
Oh, no way. I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's random.
She has been my mentor for 7 years or so.
Really?
So, yep.
Wild.
So I know almost everything thanks to Kim. But yeah, like she said, like we'll speak about car count for a minute too, like going back to the basics, like, are we maximizing on every car that's there? Do we really need more cars? That's what people need to look at. First things first, like, do you need more cars, or are you not maximizing on the cars that you have? How many hours can your technicians do? And are they doing it? How many more can they do? You know, and then how can you change your ARO, things like that. Those are some things that you should look at too before just wanting more cars. That's what we had to refrain from too ourselves. We were like, we need more cars, we need more cars. And then our ARO started to drop. And then we were like, okay, this isn't working. We're not being as profitable as we can. You know, that $500,000 shop, all they do is just change their procedures and they double their ARO, then they're going to double what they're doing just by the same car count. So there's lots of things to look at with car count and just wanting to do better and making more money for your business. So there's that. And then turnkey shop. So when we went into our new shop, we upped the labor rate like $50 an hour. right away. It was like $100 an hour. It's a European shop. And it's about like 7 miles from our location now, and it's more in town. So that was really nice for us. It's not competition to this business that specializes in Japanese cars. That was European. And what we did is we kept the same name that they had. It was called Master Autotech. And we put our name in front of it, my dad's name, Rod's Master Autotech. So we had the branding of this business. We've been open for 20 years. We just put Rod's in front of it. We do the same process and procedures that we do here. We do them over there. And that's been going extremely well and much more profitable than they were. And then the win number drill too. I guess not everyone knows what a win number drill is. Kim knows what it is. Like, if you want to know, say if you want to hire another technician, how many more cars are you going to have to do that week or in a week to pay for that technician. If you want a shuttle driver, how many more cars are you going to need to pay for that shuttle driver? That's like a huge thing the ATI gives us to be winners and successful business owners and managers. So
do you see Kim is just beaming with pride right now? She is just beaming with pride. I love watching this right now.
There's not enough time to tell you about the pleasure and just like you said, glowing. Like I'm like a proud mom because Brittany's been with me since she was in her early 20s, and watching her grow into the not only the amazing woman she is, but the business person, and really understanding and going from I'm not doing this is stupid to holy cow, here's what makes a difference, and making decisions based on numbers and what's going on versus just reacting. And that's really the partners that you surround yourself with is right. Us, Ryan, Monique, Todd, you have to have partners that are going to be with you and give you the advice and tell you the things that you don't want to hear. And there were a lot of things Brittany didn't want to hear, but watching her now, I mean, she's just incredible. And if you look at their ARO, and Brittany's always wonderful with anybody to send to their shop or do whatever. I mean, she has it dialed in and she understands about consistency, right? And using her partners strategically. And you have to have that, right? And that opens up the door to so many possibilities when you can do that, right? And you open your mind and you develop partners and relationships and those things. And it's incredible. So yes, I'm beaming.
But you learn just even being in this panel. The first thing that I said right when Todd asked me is, oh, we don't really contribute to car count. And then after hearing all of you, I'm like, oh my God, there's so much that I could have said. What am I even talking about? Yeah. And then even just like, so you're talking, Brittany's saying here, well, do we need more customers actually, or can we just maximize what we have? Looking at our analytics report, this one customer has 4,400 one-time customers, meaning they never came back.
Yeah,
4,200 repeat customers. So if you just maximize the 4,400 customers that never came back, how much more money could you actually have, right?
Yes.
So anyhow, this conversation for me is great. Thank everyone. Thank you, everyone.
I'll give my Ryan, I'm gonna jump in there.
Monique, I was going to say, I'm glad you rebounded and picked all that up. I was texting Carolyn. I was like, Monique had nothing to say about this. I mean, what
are you doing with her? She's not learning anything. If anything, I'm taking something away from this call, so don't you worry. It was definitely a positive.
Okay. I'm joking.
Back to the basics on the webinar there. I got even more nervous. One, to be with all of you experts and be the little guy in the room. I'm like, holy smokes! My ex-boss came on. I was a technician for them for 15 years and worked next to him for 15 years. And one of the things that he did, was once a week, but it really got down to about once a month, which probably when you think of it, Kim, people get out of the habit of those basics we talked about. Brittany just, and really what he would do is he would say, guys, next Wednesday, you guys are all going out to lunch. Where do you guys want? We'll be like Togo's. And you're like, okay, you guys are all going out to Togo's. 1 hour, okay. I need haircut. I need a clean shirt. Shirts tucked in. No swearing, you guys. I need you to be a really great looking team out there, in the community. And it's some months it was 2 or 3 times you do, like every Wednesday. And he would be like, don't come back late from lunch, be on time. He'd really structure it really well. But I think back to this one moment where we were all at this table, all of us presentable, all haircut, all clean shirts, all being presentable, and all of the people in line looking at us and us having our shirts on with the name of our shop on back. I look at the amazing marketing of Rod's Japanese. I could see that if I had that on the back of the shop out there, and those little things like that. Now, as the years went on, the shop did change ownership, and they stop doing that. They're, well, we don't have time for that. That 1 hour cost us X and this and that, and you know how much. And so maybe it does. Kim, you know better than me. So maybe it wasn't the wisest. Okay. But somewhere there's a balance. I'm sure there's a balance that, I don't know, maybe you get them all together in the weekend. I don't know the exact answer, but that's my, okay, we're running low. So we're going to rapid fire again. This is so hot. So let's try to give our 60 seconds. I don't have an answer for this. So I'm giving my time over to you guys. Employee shortage. I can't even say technician shortage. I got a text message at 10 p.m. the other night, and just a shop owner going, Todd, I need a tech. Can you help me? I mean, I'm getting overwhelmed. It's like a high-speed train. The cars keep showing up. Ryan, the marketing's working. You're driving too much in. They need another tech. So what is that answer? Brittany, how are you doing it?
I've also learned to stack our benches, and I talked a little bit about that earlier. Always be interviewing. When you have your team that you absolutely love and you're like, I don't need anybody else, keep interviewing. You have to. That's like a huge thing you just have to do. Just find the time, make the time, interview advisors, interview technicians, let them know what you're doing. I have people calling, hey, are you hiring yet? Like that I've interviewed before because they just really want to work here. I've hired 3 technicians this year with no sign-on bonus, when other shops in town are $10,000 signing bonus, this and that. Good culture, having really good culture, people sense that, people feel that. I always welcome an interviewer to come check out the shop during business hours, to talk to the other team members here, to talk to the technicians. Without me even there, to kind of get a feel for how it is here, and people just get really good vibes. So culture, huge. Always be interviewing, and writing really good ads. I think I write pretty good ads. I get a lot of resumes sent to me. For service advisor, I got sent like 120 resumes within like 2 weeks. It was crazy, absolutely crazy. So focusing on writing really good ads, I got like, I don't know, 5 or 6 peer edits before I posted it, just to make sure that it was nice, clear cut. And I've also learned, someone said to write it so good that when someone's wife or spouse reads it, that they're like, yeah, you should go work here. You need to write it to not just that person that you're trying to hire, but to family members that might see that ad too. And that's really helped us stack our bench really well.
Wow. Ryan, what have you seen out there in the old marketing space?
Yes. So at the Ratchet and Wrench conference in September, I moderated a roundtable on this topic, on recruiting and staffing. And one thing that came up, I think it was Gustavo from Goose Automotive in San Antonio. Lovely man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he said he was going to LinkedIn, looking at profiles, finding people that fit the profile and reaching out. And I know some of you have probably done things like that. We're not revolutionizing the world here, but for those that aren't doing it, you can kind of be proactive. You don't have to kind of wait for them to show up. You can look, and it's like sales. It's now a numbers game. It's hard. It takes time. It takes commitment. It takes being organized, like anything that has value. It's something that happens over a period of time, kind of like exercise or weight loss or health, right? It all takes time and pays dividends over a period of working on it. But that was something that came up at the roundtable that just stuck with me, that I remember.
Awesome. Monique?
Yeah, so I don't own my own shop, obviously, but I talk to a lot of shop owners and I ask them a lot of these secrets, and the folks who I've noticed aren't ever saying they're desperate are going and they're doing a lot of mentorships. So they're taking them young, they're molding them into the person that they want and need for their business, which is also advantageous for them, because then they're not, getting someone who's kind of stuck in their ways. So really just being open-minded and going out and looking all over, like Ryan pointed out, LinkedIn, wherever you can find them, but really investing in that culture. So that hour that you talked about, it may be expensive, absolutely, but you're investing for long term to make sure and ensure you're creating a culture that folks want to be a part of, which is really important.
Awesome. Kim, I'm excited for this answer.
I don't know what to leave out of this because there's so many things, and I'll talk really fast. One, you have to have the culture, right? When you're building your bench, like Brittany said, you want to keep those people included. And, hopefully you're being a strategic CEO and knowing that in X many months, we're going to have this person, this person, this person, and knowing what the opportunities are, right? So that you can say to them, I don't have some, position right now, but I'd like to go through, the rest of the process. So when we're ready to go, we're going to stay in touch. So have them at your team events, invite them to your lunches, invite their significant others, because we all want stuff we can't have, right? So when you're wanting to go and work for Rod's Japanese and they don't have a position yet, but they're including in you, you're getting to go out to dinner with them or their barbecues or whatever, that's going to make you part of the process and want them even more. And then it's such a smooth and seamless transition when you are on there, right? Brittany mentioned about writing the ads and stuff for the significant others. The biggest thing that I would invite everybody to do today, as soon as we're done with this, is look online at every other company that is hiring in your area. And you're going to see pretty much darn near every single ad looks the same. There might be a signing bonus where you're family owned, we treat everybody like a family. We have competitive wages. We have competitive whatever benefits. Who cares? There are millions and millions of job openings. I think November, there was 3.9 voluntary resignations during November, and that's happening every month. There are literally millions of jobs that your job pool can go. People are paying to bring them in to other states. So what is your ad saying that no one else is? What is your career page saying that no one else is? What are you doing? You're going to have to get flexible with your work days and hours. I've seen people turn down a phenomenal tech or advisor because they got to leave at 4:00 one day a week to pick up their kids. Like, are you kidding me?
Oh,
flex time, flex hours. People care more about spending time with their family now. This is not anymore the world of 8 to 5. You put your nose down, you work your 40 hours. Get flexible. Tyson Chicken is right now so desperate. They're paying their 3-day work week and they're paying them for 37 hours so that they get their full benefits. This is what we're competing with. So you better get tight with what you're charging your customers, your external customers, and making sure that you can afford to provide the benefits they need. But be creative. We have some of our shop owners are so brilliant. They're paying for lawn service or house cleaning or laundry being done, right? If I'm looking at an ad, I work a ton of hours a week because I'm a workaholic. But, if I saw an ad that said, hey, we have your laundry picked up, washed, dried, and folded and drop it off, I would take a second look at that. If you have a technician, you talked about bonusing and working so many hours. What if on Friday after they worked overtime or Saturday when they were at your shop, somebody was cutting their lawn, right? These are the things we have to talk about. The old ways are not working anymore. And we better get out of our little silos and stop with thinking the way it was. You need to throw everything out and start from scratch. And the last thing, and I'm trying to hurry, do yourself a favor and get a focus group. You all know kids, nieces, nephews, friends, you know people, different ages. Buy them lunch and say, if you were looking for a position today, what would you want? What would be important to you? And it's not going to be the things that we think it. So these ads. And lastly, you have to practice your interviewing. What are you going to say? I get people all the time, job offers, and I'm sure everybody on this panel, I can't even tell you how many times a day. And one of them, I finally said to them, what would you say to me? If I did walk in your shop and said, okay, I'm making a change, what would you offer me? Well, I don't know. Okay, well, you're out there looking for these rock star people, you think, and you don't even know what you're going to say to them. Practice your interviewing skills because you have to sell them on your business. They don't have to sell themselves on you anymore, right? So just be smart, be strategic, and put the planning into it. We keep going half-cocked and doing stuff. You got to plan a little and look at these things. And lastly, and I'm sorry, but hiring bonuses, I love them. I don't have anything against them, but what about the people that have stuck with you? Where are the retention bonuses? How do you think that your long-term internal customers feel when they see you're offering 10 grand to somebody that doesn't know you, that has no loyalty? They're feeling upset and they're like, what about me? I've been here 10 years or 5 years.
Wow.
Why are they getting that? We felt it with our phones, right? Or our cable bill. Okay, sorry.
Amazing. No, I'm like, whoa, I didn't even think about that. My little 2 cents, hospitality industry. I mean, you know what? You watch these people just get tore up at the counter, ticked off at the room. They're stressed. People have high anxiety of travel. And I watch these people stay under pressure. And when I went in to have my repair work done here in town in my car, it was, I mean, we had to talk about, thousands of dollars of work that needed to be done. And I just watched the demeanor of all the service writers, like it was just like right on a line. It just, you could have just blown up about whatever. And I think they would have just been like right on the line, like, oh, really sorry about that. Let's work through this together. There is a solution here. So that might be, I don't know. Again, email Kim. I'll put up everybody's email here at the end. We're going to move into our big question. Everybody on here, thank you. Nobody has dropped. So let's, we're going to ask, we're going to go into the big question. So hold in there a couple minutes with us. Okay. Best thing the shop can do in 2022. And this is our final question. Again, we could have 4 parts of this. This was just jam-packed the whole time. I'm going to take the first one so that way I can get out of the way. Really, really simple. Okay. You can Google it. I did a Google search so you can see Visa MasterCard increases rates in 2022. Right here, just click, there's one right there. It's April. It's a pretty decent sized increase. And when we look at everything we're doing, trying to keep as much of that hard-earned money that you do, I talked to a shop and they're just like, it's brutal. Everybody is trying to pull a little bit from us. And these are the shops, Brittany, that are aware of this, that they're actually watching all these things. You wake up and you go, God, it's really weird. It's like I have less money. It's probably because you do. And again, I mean, it was so gracious that they held off, a year, because this was announced they're going to do this in 2021. But now it's coming. And so we're actually supporting the shops, all of our newer shops that are coming on board. We're helping them get in everything in place, get up and trained, get ready for this, because the more folks you can, we'll call it, convert over to Facepay, get them away from running the credit cards and the high, fees that go along with this, much like Brittany's just, again, expert. It was funny to talk to so many shops. I was like, you're going to have to go to Brittany's school. Well, you got a lot of work to do, because she just naturally, and she gets it. And when we talked, she got it right away. We did the full Facepay demo, and she was like, I get exactly what this is going to do. I need to get on top of this. Because of that, when this rate increase does hit her, she's already ahead. So now if you are not working on that, you're going to get hit with the double now. So that's my piece there. And I will put up the thank you slide after everybody's answered with all of everybody's contact information. Please reach out to the experts. And even if you just have a question, if you're finishing 2021 strong, you're going to be able to start out 2022 right. So Santa's out of the way. Ryan, you're going to go first. 2022. It's the best thing they can do.
I just have to say really quickly, I can't believe that Kim brought a police officer and got a $3,500 transmission job.
So legit.
I had to like shout out for that, because that is like the most boss thing that's ever happened ever. It's hilarious.
I don't think I could ever do anything to top that, honestly.
No,
it's funny because my technicians saw me, one of them were on a test drive, and they were like, haha, she's getting a ticket. And when we pulled up and the cop actually, sheriff followed me into my parking lot, they were like, they thought I was getting arrested and that I was leaving the car. So, but
you can do sales training, and that's kind of like a mic drop. Like, just tell her, hey, whatever you have to say, just tell us and we'll listen. And then Todd's done this whole thing as Santa, which is freaking hilarious. I didn't know that before we started. He'd be dressed as Santa, and he's like totally pulled it off, like nonchalant. And we're not addressing it. We're not like talking about that Todd is Santa, which is absolutely hilarious and amazing. And I'm somewhat jealous, like I'm with Santa, because it's totally cool, right?
I'm reading your banners in the back, Ryan. You got some good verbiage. I'm like,
oh yeah, no, this is
great.
yeah.
I think you
I'm marketing here in the background.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
this.
Always marketing, right?
Love
But
it.
we need somewhere to stick that thing. And I'm like, we'll put it right there.
Yeah.
So for 2022, I think that, look, it's, and I think Brittany talked about this with increasing ARO and really working your client base. I think Monique alluded to that with talking about first, one-time visits, 4,400 one-time visits. And I think that it's, 2022 really needs to be about, developing your staff, developing, your processes, improving. I always talk about, we talk about phone calls a lot because we listen to a lot of phone calls, and everybody can improve on the phone, improving on the phone, improving your team. And then from there, looking at the partnerships you have. I mean, I know everybody here is a very caring professional, and I, the shops that we deal with that have coaching companies are enlightened and 10 times, doing 10 times better than anybody else there. Any business owner that believes they need help is in a whole other realm. It's just a whole other thing, because when the other guys, what they know everything, right? So boy, aren't these a joy to deal with, right? They're going to tell you everything you got to do. And I call them attorneys, by the way. Those are attorneys that we deal with from time to time. They know everything. And anyway, I'll pick on them. It's okay. They can take it. But calling people like Kim and saying, and getting help. I mean, that is amazing. And then great companies like Shop-Ware, getting them behind you. And I like to believe that LeadsNearMe is that way as well. We care. And our expression of care is we say things like, if there's a tech that leaves to work down the road and he's still on the website, let's take it off right now. Let's change the website immediately, not 3 months from now when we finally get to it in the queue. Like, that guy's not there. The owner's upset. Let's do it right now. So find caring partners that that really will work with you and walk with you. And then beyond that, and I know coaching companies, I've heard this said at various meetings, and Kim can probably attest to this. There's 200,000 shops in the country, and what percentage have coaching companies? I mean, the bottom line is if you get yourself dialed in with the right partners and the right people in your corner, your local competitors have no clue. They don't know what you're just. I mean, the 7 other guys in your neighborhood, they don't have coaches. They don't have all these things going on. Maybe one of them does or something. But I mean, now beating your competition, I hate to think that we're smoking the guys down the road, but that's what we do here, right? But they don't have a chance, So I think this speaks to all those things. So I think the plan for 2022, again, really continue to double, triple down on the things that you do and improving on them, and your processes and all the different things you do, your team, your network, and it just makes it virtually impossible for the competitors to catch up when they finally figure out what they're doing wrong.
Awesome. Love it. Monique?
Yeah, I mean, I really just echo what Ryan's saying. It's been kind of my theme, but the whole investing in your people, like Ryan said, investing in yourself, because you can't be a good leader or a good owner or a good CEO or any good to anyone if you are not at your best. And then just investing in tools and things like marketing or a coach that is really just going to help you get to that next level, because you can only do so much by yourself. And then when you start to bring in like-minded folks or folks who are thinking above what you are, then that's where you really start to challenge yourself and you start to go up and to the right, which is where we need to be.
In the plug for you, Monique. If you have one of these archaic management systems, come on. 2022 is the time to move. I saw a shop the other day. DOS.
It was beyond time to move to Shop-Ware.
The little cursor's blinking, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
As a matter of fact,
they had to press backspace to I'm like,
yeah. As a matter of fact, a couple years ago, I went into a shop to onboard them in North Dakota in winter, which was a crazy mistake. But anyhow, one of the customers came back in and he said he worked for, I don't know, Microsoft, Apple, something like that. And he was so surprised by the experience and the transparency and the visibility that Shop-Ware brought him that he went back into the shop after they sent him the communication. And he's like, "Did you guys have this built specifically for you? Because I've never seen anything like this." So yes, 2 years ago, it was time. So it's beyond time for shops to move over to Shop-Ware.
That was a 2021 question, Todd. Jeez, Yeah, that's awesome.
That was long ago. We're beyond
Love
that. Just kidding.
Love it. Brittany, what is the best advice for all these folks listening? And when I say I was so happy you were able to get some time, because your time is extremely valuable. You're one of the number one, well, multi-shop, let's just say number one shops in the United States. So the folks that are watching, listen up, pen and paper.
Yeah, again, like what they said too, like basics. Like we have to know what we're doing in order to know where we're going to go. We really went back to the basics a couple years ago, and we really ramped up. I think we went from like 600 ARO to 1100. Like we really maximize on what we're doing. We really have really great culture. That was a huge, huge, huge thing. I would say focus a lot on shop culture, like a lot on it. Treat your teammates, right, that they want to stay there, make everybody happy. Focus on those processes and procedures, like what don't you have down? Look at what you need to work on and how you can get better, and write those procedures with your team. You're going to have so much more buy-in when you write your processes and procedures with your team, because they were part of writing it with you. That's been huge for us too. And that's really good for culture. They really feel like they have some sort of authority kind of, here by doing that. And then I'd also say start looking into the future if you're not already. If you're doing, paper work orders and paper inspections, like we really need to get into what the future is looking like. We have self-driving cars. We rebuild hybrid batteries and electric car batteries here in-house. And we went that way a few years ago too, because we can clearly see that this industry is headed in that direction. So we're already a little ahead of the curve there, but we're continuing to learn. I'd say, yeah, continue to learn, send your guys to classes, your team to classes. And then use Facepay. I'm saving $40,000 a year, $40,000 a year in credit card processes by not using credit card, by not giving those credit card companies any more of our money. And actually what I did in turn with that $40,000 that I saved, we didn't have this before, and I was able to give the team healthcare benefits. So I switched that to healthcare benefits. And if you're not moving in the right direction, which is forward, which we're all headed in, then you're going to want to start looking into it and see what other places are doing, like top shops and things like that.
Can I quote you on that? That is
totally.
That's going on a poster. You literally I know the savings, but I mean I only have a ballpark, so I don't get the true visibility. But seeing that, so you utilize that and gave the employees full medical benefits.
Yeah.
Cause and effect due to Facepay. It's going on a poster. Yep. It's going in my living room. It's awesome. That is definitely nice list. Killed it on the nice list. Wow. Kim, you know what? Close us out. I know for question and answers, I'm going to bring up the screen. We'll maybe take some brief question and answers because we are heading over a little bit there. Kim, what's the best thing they can do 2022?
Oh gosh, everybody mentioned so many things and they're so true, but have the right tools that you need. If you're working with paperwork orders or antiquated, it is so crucial to find internal customers now, to bring them into a shop with software that doesn't work when they're trying to build a repair order, an estimate. There's nothing that bottlenecks stuff more than that. You have to have software and people that really understand what's going on in your shop, right? Like Shop-Ware, I mean, it's huge. And having the right tools allows us to broaden our horizons with who we're hiring. We don't have to have an experienced service advisor if we have the proper software that's built for speed and, canned jobs and all of those things. And the same thing with technician, you have to have a technician apprentice program. I don't care where you get it from. I mean, obviously we have one and I'm very proud, but I don't care where, but if you are not growing your own, you're going to be a statistic, sadly, that is not around So have the right tools. And again, we want to bring somebody in and we're like, oh, come and work for us. I know you have a choice of, 4.6 other million places, but come here and, oh yeah, no, that's broke. No, you got to just jiggle that a little bit and then it'll turn on, or, go sweep for us because nobody has time to train you. I mean, it's nonsense, right? act like a CEO, think like a CEO, get out of your people's way, empower them. And then you have time to work with your partners and really build a team. You know, a CEO has a board of directors that gives them advice because no one person can know everything. So with a coaching company, you don't know what you don't know. And if you know everything, I feel really sorry for you because you're going to have a very boring life the rest of your life if there's nothing to learn, right? So, but you know, these people like Ryan and Monique and all of it, and you, this is your board of directors. This is who you can go to for advice. And you guys might have a little bit of a different opinion or whatever, but that's okay because we need to hear that. And so don't surround yourself with just yes people and somebody that's just going to kiss your butt because you're not going to grow or learn like that. You need somebody that's going to tell you, listen. The other thing is stop being reactive. You know, Todd, you brought up about the increases in credit card fees, right? If you wait until that hits you and you're already paying more, and then you're like, oh, let me check out Facepay, and then that's going to take a while to do, you're already losing. It's the same thing with increasing your labor rate to be where it should be so you could provide benefits. Or because of inflation or whatever, don't wait, because then you're losing the whole time, right? It takes so much longer. And then lastly, probably if there's anything that I really want, treat your internal customers with the same respect and enthusiasm and courting as you do your external customers. And that goes for everybody in your company, because we jump through hoops to get new customers in. And then, you know, we treat our internal customers like crap sometimes, or even how they talk to each other. You would never talk to an external customer the way sometimes, you know, you see things. So treat them the same. Oh, and lastly, don't stop advertising. Oh my God. So many shops are like, I'm so busy, I'm out 3 weeks, I'm not advertising. There are no chips to be had. I'm going to just get so there are no chips to be had for trucks or anything else. But do you see Ford and Toyota and Chevy stop advertising? No, they probably advertise more now that there aren't chips, that they can't get you, but they understand that you can't stop advertising. Again, stop being so reactive. Don't, oh, let me turn off my advertising. We're busy this week. And then what happens next week? You're not busy. And then it takes forever to get it back up. So be a CEO. Learn to plan and make strategic decisions, use your partners, your board, whatever you want to call them, and stop doing those other little things.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I have the huge takeaway there, which is, you know, be a CEO. And I talk to so many shop owners. I need to change my verbiage, which is talk to the CEO of the shop. They run an amazing business. And you know, these I always call mom and pop automotive shops. Like, you really know the numbers behind what's happening with dealerships, and we literally, you know, I don't want to say run America, but keep America going. It's people are not buying new cars; they're keeping their cars, they're getting them fixed, and that's why we have a lot of these issues, you know, going on. So I just realized your guys' emails are not on here. So here is my email. There is an email that is going out after this to everybody. Please, you know, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, reach out, you know, directly to, you know, Brittany. Don't bug her too much because she's running the you know, #1 shop there in America. So, you know, Monique, thank you, you know, so much for spending some time and really jumping in there. Ryan, just amazing stuff. Rock on. Brittany, again, thank you. And Kim, I know with your radio show, you're full tilt all the time. So for you to take an hour out in the middle of this month, I cannot thank you enough. I really, really appreciate it. I know it's out of, you know, I like to do things a little bit different, but send in your questions. If you have a question now, we had a couple people drop off. So I'll try to extract just like 2 minutes and see if you have a direct question. Here's a couple of them coming in. So, oh, thank you. That's everybody's emails. So all those emails are there in the slide. See, I'm always learning too. It's like, we don't need Todd's email. We need your guys' email. This. Well, you want to know where I got my Santa suit? Come on. Okay, you guys, let me see this one question. we're good. They're just trying to get your information. Somebody asked, how many people does Brittany have in the shop? Because they're all excited about utilizing that same strategy to give their employees medical now. How many?
I have 5 technicians and 2 advisors.
Okay, awesome. I don't know why they were asking that, but oh, there you go. Okay, I like it. I like it. Awesome. You guys, everybody be safe. Have a wonderful holidays. Let's finish out 2021 strong, and let's get ready, because 2022 is going to be a phenomenal year. Although the landscape may be a little different, I think we've all adapted, and that's why we're all amazing human beings. Thank you to 4 amazing experts for your time. You guys be safe, okay?
Thanks, Todd.
Thank
Have
you.
a great day.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
Happy
Thank you.
holidays.
And Matthew, end the meeting.